Welcome to another episode of the Sacred Roots podcast. Today I'm going to take you on a journey of understanding what ease really is. Do you want more ease into your life? Do you want things to feel more easy, more effortless? Do you want to feel more in flow, like the doors are opening in your life? So many women that I work with feel so stuck in the hustling, in the grind, in the never-ending to-do list. And to be honest, it breaks my heart because it is so cultural. And we are so attached to that belief that we have to push hard and work hard to become successful. And we have to push hard to show that we're worthy and to prove ourselves. And I was going to say so much of that is a lie. So I am saying it. So much of that is actually a lie. Because when you're in the hustling, you're so stuck in your head. You're in the go, 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 do, do, do. There's pressure. You're often moving from fear or actually trying to prove yourself. You're disconnected from the flow of life, from your soul, from the path of ease. So let's explore today what needs to happen for you to step into the path of ease and to experience some of that flow and that effortlessness and all these doors opening in your life, whether you have a business, whether you want more ease in your relationship, or whether you're an employee and you work for someone, because this is really applicable to all areas of life. So my journey with ease really began 4 or 5 years ago. When, if you've read my book, The Path of Femininity, and if you've read the introduction and remember the story, you'll remember that I got woken up at 4 a.m. In the middle of a dream. And I was speaking with a friend that was dressed as a priestess, and she was on this beautiful chair that was really like a throne. And I was sitting at her feet listening to her. She was really like a teacher. And I was looking up to this woman as a spiritual teacher at the time. She was really a guide for me in a lot of ways. And she said to me in that dream, this version of you, Ele, that smiles, that is friendly, that is really behaving as the good girl, this is not going to work for you anymore. You have to let that version of you go. And then I woke up from the dream. And I remember having this knowing that this was a powerful message that my spirit guides were giving me through this dream. So I grabbed my phone and I started writing down. And as I started writing down, many more teachings came through. And these teachings then became to be the book, The Path of Femininity, which I then translated into a course, the 21-day course to embody your divine feminine. And so this teaching was really, really powerful because it was showing me where I was being fake, not expressing my authentic self. And how I was really invited to stop performing niceness, softness, kindness, and start living in my truth. Even though that was uncomfortable in a way for me, because I had learned all my life to perform. I knew really well how to be a good girl, a nice girl, as an empath. And I'm sure that you're highly sensitive and empathic too, because that's the woman that I attract. It's easy for you to feel what people want. It's easy for you to feel what people need. So then you give it to them because it makes them happy. So then it gives you the impression that it nurtures the relationship. But that can actually get you stuck in surface level relationship because you're not coming into the relationship with your truth, with your depth. And your relationship will only go as deep as you're going within yourself. So you're going to see in a second how this is deeply connected to ease. And right now you might not think that being in your truth leads to ease. Right now, it might feel more uncomfortable and difficult rather than easy, but it is the portal. It is one of the portals to ease. So before diving into the relationship between authenticity, truth, and ease, let's have a look at what ease really is. Because there's a bit of a misunderstanding in the spiritual community that ease is about having a bath, going for a walk, meditating with your crystals, slowing down. And while these could help, it's not so much about what you're doing. It's about how you're feeling, who you're being when you're doing these things. Because you could be having a bath and being completely stuck in your head for those 30 minutes, freaking out of like, okay, I'm relaxing, I'm breathing, I'm putting rose essential flower in my bath and music and crystals, but I'm actually freaking out because I've had this conversation, or I have this issue in my business, or I have this thing that I need to figure out. And so what you're actually experiencing there is chaos, worry, anxiety. It's not a relaxing bath. Or you could be meditating with your crystals, but actually having a fear come up and not processing it and pushing it down. So as you're seeing, these things can help, but it's not so much about them. It's about how you're feeling, who you're being in these moments. You can work all day and be in total flow and ease. While from the outside, working might look like a very, masculine and stressful experience. It's actually not so much about, again, what you're doing. It's how you're experiencing it and how you're showing up in that experience, who you're being. And so ease really arises from the union within yourself between your divine feminine and your divine masculine. And for you to experience that union of your divine feminine and your divine masculine, you have to be in full authenticity. You have to be in your full truth. Because when you express your truth, when you express how you feel, when you express your essence, when you're aligned with your soul, things flow. Things are much more easeful than when you worry, than when you're in stress, than when you're in chaos, than when you let your ego lead. And so it's when that ease is anchored in your nervous system, in your body, in the expression of your soul, of your essence, that you really experience ease. It's not these appearances. So the gateway to doing that, one of the gateways is authenticity. Because authenticity is going to help you heal your wounded feminine. And the wounded feminine is all about, people pleasing, not speaking your truth, fitting in, dimming your light, not expressing yourself. Sometimes it can be manipulative. Sometimes it can be about playing the victim. Sometimes it can be passive. So these can all be seen as ease and softness and surrender, true. But again, it's appearances, it's wounded, it's not who you really are. Because on the surface, you might feel like someone is being the nice girl, the people pleasing, the fitting in, but inside she's screaming. No, this is not what I want to do. No, this is not honoring my truth. No, this is not aligned with my values. So are you really seeing here where I'm guiding you? Because ease can be, something can be perceived as easeful, or you can think that a situation is easy on the outside, but who cares about the outside, about the appearances, about the surface level? What matters is the inner experience. It's how you're feeling. It's what you're expressing. And if you're not aligned with your truth, with your values, with your boundaries, with your essence, you can pretend it's as easy as you want, or you can make it as beautiful and easeful on the outside. If it's not aligned with you, it's going to feel terrible. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be difficult. And so this is why authenticity is the portal into ease. But stepping into that authenticity, stepping into that ease might be very difficult at the beginning because you have been programmed in a way to survive, or by the relationship that you had with your parents, in your family, with your teachers, with your peers. You've learned a survival mechanism to maybe hide your truth, to be a good girl, to give other people what they want and what they need so that they're happy and they don't come at you, or they love you. So many of us have learned that to feel safe and to be loved, we needed to hide our truth. We needed to fit in, because otherwise we were too much or not enough, right? So healing the wounded feminine through stepping into your authenticity is what is going to lead you towards ease, because you're only going to experience ease when you are in true alignment with your essence, with your feelings, with your values, with your truth. Let that sink in. You're only going to experience ease if you come in full alignment with your essence, with your feelings, with your truth, with who you are. Not by hiding, not by fitting in, not by people pleasing. And so you might have to face the fears of speaking your truth, which is going to be difficult at the beginning. But on the other side of that difficulty, you will find ease, because you will honor yourself, because you will honor your feelings, because you will be aligned with who you really are and express that into the world. And so real ease begins with truth. And saying no. And once you've done all of that, you're going to have to do some rewiring of your nervous system, because your nervous system has learned to hide, to protect yourself. But that's creating chaos, tension, and misalignment within yourself. So while you might be enjoying a little moment of relaxation when you go for a walk, when you have a bath, when you do a meditation, when you speak to your crystals, it's good, but it's not going to be lasting. So authenticity and truth are gateways into ease. It works like that because when you are fully authentic, you become magnetic. And so you attract the right people. You attract what you need. People respond to your energy very differently because they can feel your alignment. And that magnetism is going to draw to you the right people, the right doors, the right situations that life was actually just getting you prepared for. Right? Through all these challenges of speaking your truth, of showing your true colors, of expressing all of who you are, because nothing about who you are is too much. You are designed perfectly. So step into that perfection. And at the same time, you're perfectly imperfect. And that was also done on purpose. That is also perfect, because it is through these imperfections that we expand, that we grow, that we can connect with each other, that we can show our vulnerability, that we can learn to love ourselves. This is all designed on purpose by the great Mother of all, Mother, Father, God, the Goddess, call it whatever you want. And so the other gateway, once you've fully stepped into your truth and your authenticity, that makes you incredibly magnetic and that brings more ease, like inner ease, inner alignment, and also magnetism. And so all these doors that open in your life, because that your inner ease is then going to be reflected in your outer reality. This is really how it works. And it's going to be felt through that sense of magnetism. Suddenly you're going to be like, wow, I am so magnetic right now. All these doors are opening to me. All these people are coming to me. Well, this is because this external ease is a reflection of your inner ease, of your peace, of your alignment, of your truth, of the honoring of who you are. And once you've walked through that first door, the second one is really all about intuition. Trusting your intuition, trusting that inner voice. And you can only trust it when you have strengthened that relationship with yourself, when you have started to express your truth, when there's self-trust that has been created there. And then you start to hear and follow your intuition much more. And so your intuition is the language of your soul. And she's always going to guide you towards the highest path. The path of ease, the path of alignment, the path of love. But sometimes, in order to be living the path of ease, you're going to have to go through a few challenges. So don't see these challenges as everything that I'm doing is not working. No, actually, it's quite the opposite. You are expanding. You are being led towards that path of ease, towards that moment of true alignment and flow. But in order to get there, you need to let go of a few things. You need to expand into new ways of being. You're being stretched. And you're given important lessons that are guiding you there. And so to invite you to step into greater truth, greater authenticity and intuition, I have a few prompts for you. If you have my book, you can go to page 66 to begin with and do exercise number 6. It's also in the workbook, where I invite you to do an authenticity contemplation. And I invite you to sit with the 3 following questions. It says, what part of you is too much? And so you've dimmed it. How can you express more of that? Begin with a little bit. Maybe it's dressing in a way that you're afraid is going to be too much. Putting red lipstick on because it's Monday and you just want to. But before that you didn't dare because it would have seen as too much or criticized. Just allow yourself to do something that you're afraid might be seen as a little bit too much. And then let that experience teach you. Because oftentimes that fear that we have in our mind, it's just in our head. When we actually do that thing, we see that we're safe, that we're loved, that the people that we're meant to attract suddenly recognize us and come towards us because we honor who we are, so they can see and recognize us. The second question is, what aspect of your life do you hide, even just a little, instead of showing all of yourself? This question can apply to your business, to your relationship with your clients, to the way you show up on social media, to your relationship with your friends, your family, your partners. Where are you hiding? A lot of the women that I work with hide their spirituality. They're in the spiritual closet because they're afraid it's going to be too out there, too weird, too much. It's going to be judged, criticized, dismissed. And I get it. It has been dismissed. I have been dismissed so many times for expressing my spirituality and the things that I saw or felt. So many times, you have no ideas. I mean, so much so that I just hid it completely. And it took me an earth-shattering divorce, if you know my story. And then even 2-3 more years after that to finally start owning it and expressing it into the world. To today where I own, well, yes, I am a spiritual teacher. I am a priestess. I'm all about spirituality. My path is about connecting with the divine and helping others do that and remember their divine essence. But I wasn't born like this. I had to reclaim this. And a lot of healing had to happen before I could freely speak what I'm speaking about today. The third question here in the book is, how do you embody the pressure of be beautiful and shut up? This is something that I expand much more on in the book, and that is also deeply connected about authenticity, because so much of our culture is all about being beautiful and shutting up. Thank God it's less and less, and we are now honoring women with fine lines and silver hair, and I absolutely love it. But it's not mainstream. There's still a very big tendency of you have to be beautiful, you have to be thin, you have to wear clothes that are trendy, and don't speak too much of your truth. Don't show too much of your power. Don't express too much of your feelings. Don't go too much out there, because that's too much, right? And so this idea of like be beautiful and shut up is really keeping you away from ease, because it is creating disconnection within yourself, chaos. And where in your life are you still acting as a good girl because of that pressure, social pressure? Can you please start behaving as a bad girl? This is your permission slip to do what would be considered a bad girl. Because these stories in your head, the protectors that you have, the voices that are silencing your truth, that are silencing these wild choices or wild experiences that you want to speak about, or these crazy things that you're telling yourself, no, I can't do that. That wouldn't be good, right? These are old voices from your childhood that your ego has created to keep you safe and loved. And while they were very, very necessary, these protectors now are preventing you from stepping into your highest potential and your highest truth. And so it is actually creating chaos and tension within yourself, and not true ease and alignment, not true magnetism and abundance, not true soul expression, which is what you came here to live and experience, which is why you're listening to this podcast, which is why you're in my world. So I really invite you to sit with these questions. And I have a last one for you. Where am I performing softness, gentleness, instead of living my truth? Because living your truth might feel on the outside as wild and untamed and harsh, but within yourself, it brings peace and it brings ease. And the more you can practice that, the more you're going to experience ease, because you'll be living your truth. You'll be in that wholeness with yourself, and that is going to be reflected in your external reality. By bringing more ease, more flow into your life, more magnetism, and allowing the right people to come into your world, the right doors to open to you, the right situations to come to you. Finally, if all of this resonated with you and you want to dive into that much deeper, I highly, highly recommend that you watch my free training, Why It's Been So Hard. I'm currently changing the title, so depending where you're having a look at it, I've been reworking this free training because this work is so near and dear to my heart, and I really want to help every spiritual woman entrepreneurs to move away from the hustle, to step into ease, to step into soul alignment, to step into feminine power, so that you can serve with your gifts and make the impact that you came here to make, and really live from your highest truth and highest potential, because that's when you're going to experience true bliss, true abundance, true inner peace and happiness. And purpose, of course. So these are all the things that I speak about in my free training, so that you can live with more ease, so that you can let go of the hustle, so that you can really be in that soul alignment. So I'm diving so much deeper into the free training and giving you practical exercises in there as well. Sign up with the link that is in the show notes of this episode, and I will see you there so we can dive much deeper into this beautiful work. Many blessings to you, my love, and I will see you next week in the next episode.